All right, we're back. Got Drake Davis in the house, Mr. Sip. How you doing, baby?
Good. Thank you for having
Man, I've
me.
been so excited for this I've been looking forward to it for a few weeks.
Yeah, me too. We've
Because
been
we've been
talking
kind
about
of
it. Yeah.
talking back and forth.
Yep.
How are things?
Great, great. Sip's growing. Got Michaelin on now, so Michaelin's my girlfriend. It's been
Troublemaker.
awesome. She's a
From
troublemaker.
what I've noticed.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it's been amazing, and it's cool to get to do opportunities like this whenever we want to.
Well, what we do is so cool,
Yeah.
right? Like it's not normal stuff, and there's no normal, I guess, in life. But
Yeah.
like me getting to do fights and the memories I've gotten to create for myself and shared with everybody else, and then you helping these people reach like that's their dreams,
Yeah.
and like you really are helping them enhance they got to get to those spots. They can't get there alone.
Yep.
And so what a cool spot you get to be.
What a privilege.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
and
an angel on their shoulder almost.
Yeah, and I think the coolest part of it for me is so much of it is about their real self.
Yeah.
Like the real self and performer self. And I think, I said it on the last podcast, but who you are in your life does translate to who you are and what you do. And so much of the work is about investing in them as humans. And I think a lot of the time, like the athletes are surprised that so little of it has to do with the actual sport piece and so
Yeah.
much of it has to do with their lives. But it's such a privilege every day.
Well, like Jordan, all the top guys, they talk about, that everybody in the league can do what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody can touch the top of the backboard. Everybody can hit 25 out of 25 from the 3-point line. And now, so what separates those people? What separates Kobe Bryant from the rest of them?
Mm-hmm.
It's their mentality and the way they're able to bring their best self to whatever they're doing,
Yeah, it's so marginal at the top,
It is.
I always go back to that. It's the difference between good and great is so small. And I don't know what this stat is. It's from the Founders podcast. David Senra said this, but I think he's talking about Tim Galloway, who wrote The Inner Game of Tennis. But he has this dinner with a tennis coach, and he says, number 4 in the world in tennis is closer to number 200 than he is to number 3.
1. Yeah.
To number 3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so 1, 2, and 3 are, and I don't know if you can actually measure that. I think it's more of an opinion, but I think it speaks volumes to like Novak Djokovic, Rafael Nadal, and Roger Federer. The thing that separates them is the mental side because everybody is so talented. So your ability to protect your garden and to have discipline with your mind is a weapon if you can learn how to use it.
What's that speech that Federer made? He did a commencement speech.
Yeah, it's only just a point.
Yeah.
Every point has to be the most important point of your life. And if you hit a backhand top 10, it's just a point.
Yeah.
And if you get scored on, it's just a point. And he says in there, he's like, and don't ever forget that your opponent is scared too.
Yeah.
Feels fear as well. It's like one of my favorite ones. Yeah.
You ever hear the public speaking adage? Like if you get nervous, you just imagine the audience is naked.
Yep.
And you're the only one with clothes.
Exactly. I know even Kanye West like sings that in one of his songs, like envisioning everybody's naked.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
Well, everybody has that. The other cat's tired too.
Yeah.
Like he's scared that he's not gonna do his best as well. The thing I took from that Federer thing and that I love so much, and I think sports is just an analogy for life. I think it's one of the things that makes jiu-jitsu so cool, right?
I completely agree.
Because in those little moments, it's life. Like you're fighting, you're doing really well, or you're doing very poorly, or and the consistency and the ability to persevere through those, both with sense of grace, is I think what's made jiu-jitsu kind of culty sometimes because people see the deeper meaning of it. It really is like that. And that Federer talking about, what did he win? Like 53% of his points or something? Whatever.
Exactly. Yep.
Minuscule over the Mendoza line. And just that much made him one of the all-time greats.
Exactly. It's his ability to like compete within the moment because he's only winning 53% of his points, but he's winning some outrageous amount of his competitions. Back to the jiu-jitsu piece. I think that's kind of what I've experienced is your separator. I said this to Michaelin for the last 4 years. We've gone and trained at a couple other gyms just like on the road, and maybe it's good from a technical perspective, but my favorite part of being in your classes is how you connect it all back to process, to being a black belt in life, to understanding that this teaches you a lot about yourself. Who you become in your life, I think, is a direct reflection of how much you can confront about yourself. And jiu-jitsu will force you to confront things about yourself.
That's an interesting thing to say.
Yeah, like my frustration, you know, or my need to win this round, or like need to control or look good, a status thing. Like John's there, I got to make sure I'm not getting submitted.
Right.
You know, like that's a lot of people in jiu-jitsu, and it's refreshing to come into your gym and hear how you connect it to life, but hear how you remind people that the work is the win. And if you just show up and be willing to try, you will learn. And that is the secret for everything.
Yeah.
You want to get good at podcasting, you sit down and you do podcasts.
And you suck at it for a while.
You suck at it. There's an ugly duckling phase. Yeah. Absolutely. But that's your superpower, I've always thought.
You know, well, thank you. I don't know where, I mean, that's just reading, and like all sports and performance psychology is kind of the same stuff, right? It's in different, comes at you different ways, but it's about being consistent. It's about being real. It's about not being afraid, you know, trying to, and those are big subjects, all of them.
Yeah.
But that's life too.
Yeah.
And I think any endeavor, if you're a chess player, that's life. You know, you're going to win and lose. You're going to be good and you're going to be bad. But for me, my vehicle is jiu-jitsu and coaching. And I found that, I found it just to be glaringly obvious to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's a bright light shining on me that this isn't about jiu-jitsu.
Exactly.
It's about
yeah,
us as people, you know, and handling what comes next.
But I think people forget that coaching is a privilege. Like I obviously was a baseball guy, and it is as transactional as it gets now with the NIL stuff. And
man, for sure.
They do not care. I have a guy that I'm working with who is I've worked with him for 3 years, and I love this guy dearly. And he's a Division I baseball player. He hit 300 his first 2 years of college and transferred out and went to a new school. Great opportunity. And he's at this school and has a down year for sure. It just like wasn't his year. And process was money. So like, we're not going to panic. It's just, that happens. That's the game. Yeah. And he got a text yesterday from his coach, a text message basically saying, hey, we're bringing these other guys in. Just want to let you know in case you want to hit the portal. Like they had an exit meeting and then they have this conversation. He texts him this. I just can't believe it. It honestly like disgusts me in a lot of ways when coaches forget that it is a absolute privilege to have any kind of influence on somebody's life. You know, and not everybody's coming in here to be a UFC champion. You know, some people are like Mikaelin, who is just coming in here to move her body and to learn.
And to do something that's maybe a little fearful. Like, I'm nervous about this, which is the most laudable thing of all.
Right.
If you're scared and you jump anyway, hell yes.
Yes, that's
superhero.
You learn everything. Yeah. And that's like why I appreciate your style, is because you're able to remember that it's a privilege to have influence on anybody, even if it's some girl that has no plans of being a UFC champion. Yeah. It's always a privilege to have any kind of influence on someone.
Well, you're a service, you know, Greg Jackson said it a long time ago when I started coaching. You're in a service gig. Like you're trying to help other people. It's not about you.
Right.
And I think a lot of good leaders are like that. You know,
Ted Lasso.
Right? Yeah, he's the best.
Here we are again.
I wore my Ted Lasso jersey today.
Let's go.
To just put me in touch with the spirit of it. You know,
priming yourself. I posted that last night where he's like, "Love the title, love the book, but change the title." It never
was about me.
It was never about me.
I love that.
Last thing I'll say there is, I'm obviously a Christian, and I learned that in the Hebrew Bible, in Hebrew, the word abad means work.
Yeah.
Right. So like Adam is in the Garden of Eden and he's meant to work and take these raw materials and push them forward to build this world that we live in. And I think when some people read that, even in 1 Corinthians, it'll tell you that we are co-workers with God. And sometimes when you can read that, you can look at it like slave labor, like we're working. But what's so cool is in Hebrew, the word abad means work, but it also means service. And then there's one more translation for it, and it's worship. So full stop to abad, to you're a coach or I'm a coach, my work is an act of abad. It is work for sure, but it's an act of service, but it's also an act of worship for me back to God. You know, this is me being the best at what I can do as an act of abad. Yeah. You know, it's me trying to give back to him, you know, for everything he's given me.
That's full circle as it goes.
Yeah, and it's selfless,
fills you
right?
too, you know?
It has to be selfless. You know, survival is selfish, you know? So that's my take on it.
Wow, you're doing a great job, man.
Thank you.
I learn a lot when we talk. Helps me to kind of touch base.
Yeah, me too.
I had that rough one and called you, and it helped me a lot to kind of get back to it.
Yeah.
Things you know. There's Kevin Elko did a thing called Nerves of Steel. It was one of my first kind of sports psychology. Oh, I need to study some of this stuff. And he's an old Southern football coach, worked with Alabama, and was great. I love his stories, and just the way he tells them, what a great storyteller he is. But he talked about one of his friends was like, yeah, I did that sports psychology stuff, and I already did it. I already read it. Yeah. And he's like, well, you took a shower yesterday, didn't you? You going to take one today?
Yeah.
And the idea is that you have to bathe your mind and your spirit in the right things daily or regularly, or you won't get those. You won't be that anymore. You're not going to be clean if you don't shower for a month.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Ryan Holiday ends his book, Ego is the Enemy, with the idea of sweeping the floor. And it's like every day sweeping the floor of your ego. And like you can miss a week and your floor is going to be a little gross. But in the long term, it's just filthy. And we talked about it a little bit last time. But I just think you got to wake up and remind yourself every day of who you are.
Yeah.
That's the morning pages that you've been doing. And remind yourself of who you are and also who you're not. And the things you focus on and the things that you don't. Like I was journaling before this podcast. And I'm like reminding myself of how I go about my business and what I believe to be true. And I just think it's really easy to forget. I always talk about like how the devil is patient and he will wait until you're just vulnerable.
Yeah.
And then you had a bad day or you had a couple fighters lose and then you've been so great with your process and he's patient. And so for you to be able to discern, to know that voice and course correct is a skill.
Well, those seeds of doubt will take hold quick. Like you're talking about your friend in college and now he's at a real crossroads mentally.
Yeah.
Because the guy that brought him in, the guy that said, hey, we want to do this with you, like doesn't even have the regard to
give him a call, which is terrible.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Like you have better, like it's a baseball team. It's not, there's not thousands of people.
Yeah. And by the way, it's not an SEC school either. It's not like it's some big deal, you know? So it's like, be the right guy, but back to your point, in the midst of struggle, your worthiness can never be on the table. You know, like struggle is a guaranteed thing. It'll happen. Nobody rides for free. Look at Ilya Tapuria.
Yeah.
Nobody rides for free, but in the midst of your struggle, you just cannot negotiate with your self-image and who you are. So if we've trained him right over the last 3 years, it's no factor. It's the next best decision. And that's all you can ever do. Emotion's a distraction and it's bias. You can feel what you need to feel, but it just comes back to, well, what's our next best decision? And it's a conviction and believing that things are always happening for you, not to you. This is happening for him. Good. Thank you.
That Jocko thing.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah. Our truck broke down.
Good. Yeah. By the way, Jocko Willink is my fault. Is the reason that I do jiu-jitsu.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, he's a jiu-jitsu guy.
Yeah, and I listened to the Underground podcast for all those years, and I started a podcast because of that, and it led me to you. So like, I'm always
thank you, Jocko.
Thank you, Jocko. Yeah, I have a bunch of Jocko shirts, and I certainly think I approach the way I train the mental game a little bit different. I think I used to be a little bit more rigid.
Yeah.
Because I consume Jocko a lot, and I love how Jocko goes about it.
Well, a Navy SEAL and those kind of intense guys are going to come at it a little different.
Right. But I always have love for Jocko. Jocko Fuel actually just sent me some stuff.
Really?
So I got some stuff from them, and I wouldn't be at the MMA lab if it wasn't for Jocko, and I wouldn't have a podcast if it wasn't for Jocko. So.
Good. Well, thank you.
Shout out Jocko. Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
So hey, that brings us kind of thinking about Michaela getting started and her nerves. One of the things I want to talk to you about today was the fear of getting started. Like. Why are we so scared to do things? And you talked about the inner game of tennis, being childlike. You have your sweatshirts that say "Be childlike," right?
Yep.
And why is that such a hard thing?
Yeah.
Like, because people have we get stuck, we get stagnant in things. I think because we're scared to reach out, like we're scared to look foolish, to go to the next thing. What is it about that, and how do we deal with that?
I think it's very aligned with what you're saying. Back to the childlike idea. Children believe easy and without cynicism. They're spontaneous, and they're the kids that stand on this table and put their arms out like Superman, and there's no blocks.
Yeah.
I think part of that is like you don't really have an ego. Ego is a huge role in this, and they're just free. Yeah. And so you have to understand what it looks like to be spontaneous, to understand what it doesn't look like. And I think children are the perfect representation of that. They don't interfere. Like you talk about the inner game of tennis, the best equation in the inner game of tennis is performance, P, equals P minus I. Performance equals your potential minus interference. So it's like, how much are you interfering? And we have this natural gift to learn. I think about it like a computer system within us that can flow and learn quickly. It's a natural learning process. And when I'm in your class, the best thing I can do is observe and give self one, maybe a task, which is the ego mind, but ultimately just let myself move. And so that is a gift. It's within us. But when you are new to something, your ego feels out of control.
Yeah.
Which is the same reason that we go to the past and we go to the future, is because your ego feels like it has control. It can reflect on what happened in the past. It can predict a mind-made projection, which is the future, even though it's completely fake and time isn't even real. And all we really have is the present, but it's scared of the present because it's unknown.
Yeah.
So if we know that about the ego, it makes sense that to go into a jiu-jitsu gym, something you've never done, would be uncomfortable because you've never done it. And so to be able to know that voice that is your ego mind, and to hear it and to see it, but to do it anyways is a superpower in a lot of ways.
It is. How do you encourage people to do that? Because lots of people, in the jiu-jitsu gym, we get people every day.
Mm-hmm.
Like we just talked to some girls out there
Mm-hmm.
that came in, and you can tell by their energy, they were like excited and laughing, but they were nervous.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody that walks in here is nervous. So they've already won that battle.
Mm-hmm.
Like they did it. But there's plenty of people sitting at home that have like, oh no, I can't because of
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Yeah.
How do you help encourage people to push their boundaries? Because that's what that is, right?
Yeah.
Like I need to try something different to be a better coach. I need to try a different phrase. I need to try run practice a little different, even though it's been very successful. Gosh, how do you push it to the next place?
Yeah.
Man, if I do that, I might fall.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? How do you encourage people to work with that? Is that just listening to that ego voice and then ignoring it?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I think we can go more of a theory perspective, and for me, that's helping people understand the why. Why are we pushing you out of your comfort zone? I have guys in the NHL that I'm having go take pottery classes, and I'm having an Olympic swimmer who's painting with her hands, and an NFL running back who is out doing stuff he's never done, painting or whatever it is. And when you can communicate the why to them, which is I'm putting you in an environment to re-experience the natural learning process. You don't have any expectation. And so you're going into this environment and your ego's not really attached to whether or not you do good. The ego piece is like, I'm scared I might look like an idiot.
Right.
But the need to win, or need to make a perfect piece of pottery is not in the forefront of his mind. But when he's playing hockey, he has the need to look a certain way.
Yeah.
And so when I can explain to him the why behind trying something new and being a beginner again, well, then he's more willing to go out and...
Tell me about that why.
Yeah.
What do you say to him, theoretically? Any guy, he's a very good whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, I need you to try this thing that you're probably going to be terrible at, but it's going to help you. What do you say to him to get him to do that?
Yeah, well, we understand because we have a relationship, which matters. We have a relationship, and I know that he is a guy that undermines his innate ability, his natural gifts on the ice. And I'm not here to teach him how to shoot a hockey puck better.
Right.
I'm here to teach him how to trust himself more because it's already there.
Which will make him shoot a hockey puck better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. And so we understand that he is a shell of himself. He's a perfectionist and he thinks it has to be a certain way. And so when I can communicate to him that you're going to go into this and you're going to suck at it and then you're going to do it again and it's going to be a little bit better and you're not even really analyzing or trying, you're just letting it happen. And then he goes out and he actually experiences it again. And he's like, oh, or I have them go play hacky sack, or I have them play spike ball, or ping pong is a great example where you can't play ping pong and analyze. If you do, you'll suck. So you're just having fun and playing. And these experiences for the athlete help them understand that, oh, this whole time I've been undermining my innate ability. So I could have more faith.
Is the undermining come from doubt? Is it their ego trying to take over? What do you say? What do you think that is?
I think it's the ego mind. I think it's self one. Self one is critical and judgmental and analytical.
So it tightens them up.
Oh yeah, and it's the voice that tells you I know you're prepped, John, but you're not prepped enough. Or you haven't done enough X, Y, and Z. It'll never be enough.
No.
But that's okay. That voice is always going to be there for you. By the way, that voice at one point kept you alive. So you have to understand why we have that. But it's not needed anymore in certain ways. And I think it's the ego. And for you to just not fix it, you don't have anything to fix. but just to recognize it and to be able to move past it is enough.
Yeah.
To recognize it is enough. So that's more of like a theoretical example of how to have the courage to go do that. Now, I think from a more tactical perspective, the ability to sit down with yourself and do your morning pages. If I was going to coach an athlete and they were saying, I don't want to go do that, I'm not here to rush them, but I am here to meet them where they're at. And I'm going to have them explore that in their morning pages. And that's going to be uncomfortable. And they're going to think it's annoying, but then they're going to have this big breakthrough eventually. And they can start to make unconscious patterns conscious of, oh, I have this tendency to avoid things that I'm not great at. And genuinely, I think we have the answers inside of us. If you can sit with yourself and you can be willing to go there and to confront these things about yourself, you'll work through these things. So I think tactical is, the morning pages and then ultimately just mustering up the vulnerability to go out and do it. Because the root of courage and the root of compassion and the root of connection, everything good in life is vulnerability. Yeah. So you have to be willing to go be vulnerable.
Do you, what your connection to art? Like you mentioned the 3 things, you said pottery, you said painting, writing.
Yeah.
What makes that so important for performance? And in our field, it's athletics, right? But it can be life too. We're talking about opening our potential wherever. How does art play such an important part of you? And it's something you recommended to me when we were working with Leslie.
Shout out Leslie.
Yeah, we love her.
I love Leslie. Yeah,
she's the best.
She's the best.
I put a picture of her and I up yesterday. Did you see it? And she was like trying to be cute. Somebody was taking a picture of her T-shirt, and I put my fat head next to hers.
I love it.
Yeah, it was great.
I cannot say enough good things about Leslie.
Her and I are pals.
She's impressive and so incredible in so many ways. Yeah.
But the book you recommended for her
was The Artist's Way.
Yeah. And I've been using it too, doing pages. So tell me about the work of being creative. How does that open us up? Is that a risk thing, like going to be uncomfortable again? Like, tell me about that.
Yeah, I think it goes back to the beginner piece again. Like a lot of these people that I'm recommending go to read that. And you don't really identify as an artist, but as you start to read this, you will see that a lot of how you think is similar. And also, I think when you open yourself up to creativity, you figure out what your truth is. Like creativity is all based off of what you love. The audience is you, and so when you're creating something beautiful, it's authentic to you. And that's my greatest goal with the creativity piece is to, 1, help them be a beginner again, but 2, to help them figure out what their truth is and to find that, they are unique and they are special and each individual has been given gifts. Back to the Bible, like in Romans, it tells you that we're all given very specific gifts. Like you have a gift of connection and you have a gift of service, and it's unique for everybody. And when you can start to figure out what your art is, what it looks like for you, it's authentic to you. I just do believe that so much about being your best is about being willing to be yourself, which takes vulnerability again. But for as long as you try to imitate somebody else or be like somebody else, you could still be good, but it's just, are you as good as you could be? So yeah, I think a huge part of it is about learning to be comfortable in your skin. And I think art is a natural way to learn that.
Because it takes you out of being comfortable first?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And it also forces you to explore yourself.
Yeah.
What do you like?
That's right.
What do you like?
Yeah. Have you ever heard that saying, you might as well be yourself because everybody else is taken?
Oh, yeah.
I love that.
I love it too. And I think sports are creative as well. I always say that. But
do you ever hear Greg Jackson talk to John Jones in between rounds? It's all about creativity.
Really?
Every single time. It's like, Johnny, go out and be the artist that you need to be.
Yeah.
Now, I need you to throw your right hand straighter, but then just be creative. When he's starting to feel it, he really plays into the art piece of him being a martial artist, right? Yeah. That part of it.
Isn't it funny, though? Like Abraham Maslow is talking about peak experiences, which is flow state, and he uses words like most creative and spontaneous, and that's what art is. Art is the best when it's spontaneous.
Yeah.
When I try to calculate how I'm going to draw something, or I try to calculate how I'm going to talk in a podcast, I'm worse for it. Yeah. So back to our conversation about prepping for this podcast, my creative process for everything I do, with even just making my own podcast, my own channel, has taught me so much about jiu-jitsu, and it's taught me so much about this and everything that I do, that I don't need to overanalyze, because I actually create. I took a drawing course. Like my drawings are the best when I just let it happen.
Yeah.
And I let God create through me. I'm willing to let God create through me.
Yeah.
That's a principle in my process, I would say.
It's hard for me because I think of the mechanics behind it, right? Like everything to me is how it fits together. I'm very technique driven as a coach, right? Like I want you to have all the answers.
Yeah.
And when you have, like we talked about, when you have all the answers or you're as prepared as you can be, then you can let go and just fly.
Fair.
You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
So like when I think about a drawing class, my stomach clenched up to just be like, oh.
Self one's a sucker, isn't it?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I would have to, well, how do I do that? Like I'm one to I'm not jumping first. I want to see the spot where I'm landing.
Yeah.
Before I jump.
Yeah. Which is beautiful though, because that's your self one, and that's you able to recognize that. And I think such a big part of sports is leaving space for the mystery.
Yeah.
I think part of being a believer in Jesus is leaving space for the mystery, but it translates perfectly to sport. We're talking about Gaethje before this podcast, and Gaethje is dangerous because he's accepted whatever happens, and he leaves space for the unknown.
Yeah.
And when you are a control guy and you need to understand where you're jumping, you're not really leaving space for the unknown.
Yeah.
But the unknown is where everything happens. It is literally the most beautiful place you can be, where the present moment is. The present is in the unknown.
Yeah.
And that's a courageous thing though, to be willing to be courageous and to step into things that are scary and that you don't know about. But I promise you, like everything good in your life happens in the now, and that means that it happens in the unknown.
You remember when we were talking yesterday about this, and I've been like obsessed with this idea of flight lately. For the team, there's this Aaron Hansen poem. There's freedom waiting for you on the breeze of the sky. And you ask, what if I fall? And what if I fall? And I say, but darling, what if you fly? And I just love the beauty of that. But it's so hard to let go of that. And that's one thing I've been thinking about a lot for my team. You know, like you have to let go. You have to be willing to look foolish to be great.
I agree.
And that's what you're talking about with Gaethje. Like I've heard him talk about that. Trevor talks about a story when I interviewed him. Gaethje walked into the locker room. He goes, boys, I'm breaking both feet tonight. Because he was just going to, like, who says that kind of thing? You know?
Yeah.
And hear him talk about, like, that knockout with Max was brutal. Right? Like, that can damage you
for life
as a confident athlete, right? I'm not talking about physically. Obviously, there's some physical ramifications, but he didn't carry that with him at all. He didn't carry. He's like, yeah, he could knock me out. He hits hard, but I can't wait to get in there. And he couldn't. He meant it. Like I've never, I don't know, never, but that was one of the prime examples I've seen of an athlete that was just right there in his moment.
Well, that's a man that knows how to be the observer and to not really be frenzied by the potential to fail. There's something called pre-mortem, and pre-mortem is basically visualizing you failing and backtracking to how we got there.
Yeah.
And
so you set the path in your mind.
Yeah. And so many of these athletes are like
tracks are in the snow.
Fearful, but they're fearful to do that. And I'm saying pre-mortem is a great tool.
Really?
Because I know.
So how's that?
Because like when I was an athlete, I was too scared to do this because I was too fragile, and I couldn't observe. I couldn't just take the emotion out of it. Emotion is bias. I wish that I could look at you and say that emotion's going to serve you. It might be a motivator in some ways, but I think the Ilya Topuria example is a really good example. And I'm an Ilya guy. Like I'm going to knock him out in the first 2 minutes. And he changes his Instagram bio and he has a dinner the night before. And when he's winning, it is cooler than shit. Like I want to believe it. But when he loses, now it could be resulting. I could be judging a process solely on an outcome. But I just look at it and I'm like, that's adding to the facts.
Yeah.
What are the facts? This is a very volatile game. And
anything can happen.
Yeah, you can have the perfect game plan and get hit with a spinning back heel in the last 10 seconds of the first round and break your nose like Gaethje did against Holloway, because I think Gaethje was going to beat Holloway there.
That changed the fight.
Right.
You know, one thing, this is a little off the subject, but one thing that people didn't talk about enough, not very many human beings would fight through the next 20 minutes of that fight when he couldn't breathe.
Right.
And every time he touched him on the head, that had to feel as bad as anything's ever felt in the history of man. You ever had a broken nose?
No.
Oh my God.
I can imagine.
It's terrible. Like you're just drinking your own blood.
Yeah.
Your eyes are watering. It's painful. Anytime you touch it, you want to lay down like a child and cry.
And if you blow your nose right, your eyes
and
blow.
your orbitals will blow up. Yeah. Like you've seen that before, examples of that. But anyway, that that's another example, I think, of Gaethje just willing to accept
a present like he's
this
chosen.
is what it is.
Exactly.
So
That's
I'm not
going
to do my best.
Do you see how that's a skill though? That's something that you can train yourself to be, and it's hard, don't get me wrong, but I think you look at how Gaethje spoke about the fight. I'm making a whole podcast on this. I'm making posts about this because I'm very inspired by it. But Gaethje is, this is going to be a 5-round fight. Like, I'm prepared for 5 rounds. And he's the world champion for a reason. And he's incredible. And all I know is I visualize myself losing in every single way, and I take him to a place he's never been. And all I can guarantee is that I'm going to go out there and throw missiles. And when you talk about somebody like Harvey Dorfman, who is, in my opinion, one of the greatest sports psychologists ever, especially for baseball, he talks about not losing your good approach, right? Your good behavior. Behavior is
that your process?
Yeah.
Is that, would you call that another kind of word or terminology for that?
Yeah, like process.
Yeah.
So like in fighting, your good behavior is you fight 1 round at a time. You're in the generous now. In baseball,
1 moment at a time.
Exactly. 1 moment is even better. In baseball, it's 1 pitch at a time. In football, it's 1 snap at a time, 1 play at a time. And that's a behavior thing. And your job is to go into that ring or to go on the mound or to go into whatever your sport is and just play bird by bird, 1 pitch at a time. That's a good behavior. But when you start adding to the facts and the ego gets involved, you look at Ilya, and he is doing everything he can to put him out in the 1st and 2nd round.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know the game plan. I'm not a coach for that, but I think Ilya is a better fighter. And I think Ilya would have beat him I think Ilya could have beat him. That's what I'm trying to say. But I think when you add to the facts, I do believe that he does too much, or loses his good approach. And I also think it's harder to come back from that when your ego has been so involved in your process.
I agree.
And one more thing on the Gaethje piece, he is so impressive because he's able to visualize those scenarios and to just let it be and understand that that's a part of the game. And that's a dangerous man.
That's a maturity too.
Yeah.
For him, I think. I mean, I think he's always kind of been that kid. Yeah. Like he came here when I think he was an amateur. Anyway, he just started fighting. He was an All-American wrestler at UNC. Mm-hmm. My good friend Leister Bowling came down. He was Ben's college teammate in wrestling. Leister came down, hey, I have this kid. Is it okay if we come down? And Ben met him and worked out with him. Ben dropped him with a couple body kicks, right? Like hit him in the liver and dropped him a couple times. And nobody knew. It was just the 4 of us in the gym. And it's practice. Who cares? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but it's something that I've always remembered. I see Justin and I remember it. I'm not thinking, oh, you got knocked out. Justin's great. Mm-hmm. But I remember I was in an elevator in Abu Dhabi, and it was when he was fighting Khabib Nurmagomedov. So they had a whole crew surrounding him. So I get in the elevator, I'm waiting to go up, and I hear this the circus coming around the corner. And it's Justin and all his guys. And there's 10 of them. I'm like, oh, I'll just hop out of the elevator. This is not my spot. It's cool. Like, I'll go take the next one. And he grabs me, and Trevor grabs me. No, you're a Colorado boy, man. Arizona. I'm from Arizona. He's just super friendly.
Yeah.
And they get me on there, and we're talking. He's like, I trained down at the lab once. And I remembered. I wasn't going to be on camera like, yeah, I remember, because I don't feel like that either. Mm-hmm. But I was like, yeah, it was cool when you came down. He's like, I still owe Ben $20. and it baffled me. I was like, what do you mean? He goes, he dropped me with 2 body shots. That's $10 a shot. I was like, for him to bring that up in that week, like his main event, this huge show against Khabib Nurmagomedov, it just like, what a cool customer he is.
Yeah.
It's just part of the sport. Mm-hmm. And he can accept it and move on and still do well.
Yeah. He's just collecting information. Yeah, I think something that I said, I think Ilya is a better fighter. I think Ilya is more technical, but again, I'm not a UFC coach. I'm not an MMA coach. But I think when I played, I'd be like, oh, I'm better. I just struggle with the mental side, And then I had this come to Jesus moment where it's like, wait a minute though. The mental side is part of it that makes you really great. And Gaethje might be less technical or whatever it is than Ilya, but Gaethje is damn good with his mental. And so for me to say Ilya's better, well, Gaethje beat him.
Yeah.
And I think Gaethje is a very well-rounded individual.
Yeah, and he's working hard skill for skill too. Mm-hmm. I mean, Ilya might be as good as it gets at everything. He can wrestle, he can do jiu-jitsu like a crazy person, and he's got bombs in both hands.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's a funny thing. A funny thing happened on the way to the Coliseum tonight. You know what I mean? Like, what do you think about Ilya not having somebody that helps him? I feel like he's the top of his pyramid. Like with Gaethje, he has Trevor, and he has his coach Luke Claudio, who's up on the wall somewhere. That's Luke. He's on the bottom in that picture, but he's in there. And they love each other. Have you ever seen them hit each other?
Oh yeah, that's
they
him.
do body shots and push each other
in the bushes. Yeah, I saw that too.
And he has those people to kind of keep him balanced and regulated. And his family's very close to him. He loves his mom and dad. And do you think Ilya suffers from that, or is it just different for every individual?
Yeah, I can't speak to it because I don't know who is in Ilya's corner. I don't know what that looks like. But all I know is it's a force multiplier to have a woman in your life that supports you, to have a team that is grounded and anchored and keeps you steady and reminds you of who you are. And I think it's so valuable. I think you need to have that, somebody to remind you of who you are. When you forget, we have to be reminded more than we have to be taught. And again, nobody rides for free. Yeah. And so when Gaethje gets slept by Max Holloway, or he gets beaten by Charles, or he almost gets his arm snapped and then gets triangled by Khabib, like he has people in his corner that are keeping him grounded, or else he probably could have been done a long time ago. Yeah. I think his journey, I've talked to my athletes all week about it. I think it's a really cool representation of process. I watched him go in and knock Dustin out. I watched him get his opportunity and then break his nose in the first round against Max. And I mean, if he wins that fight, is he running for the belt then? Right? Yeah. He's probably up for the belt.
That was the BMF belt, I think. Right.
And then did Max fight Ilya right after that? Right.
No, I thought he fought him before. He fought Charles after that.
Okay. Yeah. But regardless, like I think Gaethje's been presented opportunities to be the champion. Yeah. And it's easy to have a narrow focus when you are in survival. When you're losing these fights, you've lost your opportunities. He lost to Khabib. And for him to have a creative approach, which is a broad focus compared to a narrow focus, is a beautiful thing, because now he is the UFC champion. You know, he has done it. And that's a guy that was willing to see it through. And in the midst of struggle, his worthiness was never on the table. And you don't have to understand how. Yeah. That goes back to our initial conversation about leaving space for the unknown and the mystery. You don't have to know how you're going to get there. You just have to go bird by bird. You have to take it one fight at a time and just be great in that fight. And it's not for you to understand. Yeah. You know,
one round at a time for him. Exactly. I mean, one of my sayings that I like is just win the moment. Just win this next moment. Yeah. And when you don't, it's okay. Win the next one. And that energy takes you through to where you need to go. But in Justin's fight, like, he had a great first round. He did not have a great second round. Got dropped, mounted, almost arm locked, almost triangled. And he didn't carry it with him at all. But Ilya came out in the third. Defeated. And was carrying it. Yeah. It was heavy on his shoulders. Now, he was tough as hell. Like, he kept going, but he wasn't trying to win that fight after that. I didn't think. I thought he knew he had, like, man, that was my chance, and I let it go. And Justin, like, he could have easily been like, damn, that was too much. Yeah. I can't keep up with this guy. But no, he came back out, and his energy was great. His presence was awesome. He didn't think he was going to lose that fight. Yeah. I just loved that.
Shout out Jim Murphy of Inner Excellence, but he says, everything is here to teach me and help me, and everything is working out for my good. Yeah. Right? He says, the problem is not the problem. The problem is the state that you enter when the problem occurs. Yes. So the problem is not the problem. He got put in a triangle in an arm bar. The problem would have been the state that he entered after that. You know, that happens. Yeah. And everything is here to teach you and help you. He's experienced that before. Yeah. He knows how to overcome it. So everything is here to teach you. And you don't have to understand that. There's an ugly duckling phase, and that is the process. Being willing to show up, and I say it, but the work works on you more than you work on the work. Yeah. You know, this work that you're going through, even when you lose, you know, and you get embarrassed and you're just humbled. Yeah. It's for good. You know?
I love that. The work works on you as much as you work on the work. And that's just that whole process, what we're talking about, jiu-jitsu, just making you a better person. But also the fear of starting, like trying something new, and you're working on that. It's making you bigger and better and all that stuff.
Well, that's your proof, isn't it? Yeah. That you are that person.
Yeah, I love that. When I was thinking about, you're talking about him failing, you know, we've talked about Justin a lot today, but it's a topical thing. And it was on my mind the other night because I had picked Ilya to win that fight. Yeah. I just didn't think that he would have that arrogant disregard for his opponent. And I think hopefully it'll be a lesson well learned for him. Not hopefully. I mean, for him to move forward, it's going to have to be.
Has to be.
But I was thinking about, you're talking about Justin losing, and some of those are dramatic. That Max knockout is the greatest knockout in the history of MMA.
Mm.
It has to be, right? The last 10 seconds of a tough fight. And nobody was going to remember, or I do, but not many people remember Justin's bravery and resilience through the whole fight.
Mm-hmm.
To get to 4 minutes and 50 seconds of the fifth round, miracle.
Yeah.
Like most humans don't get there. But then to have that moment reminds me, I was talking to you yesterday about the story of Icarus. I told you I was obsessed with flying lately, but like he gets too close to the sun, and the lesson in that is that we shouldn't reach farther than we should reach. Mm-hmm. Know your boundaries is that's the tale of Icarus. Mm-hmm. And I was telling you, this group is doing a remake on modern Icarus, and it's based on the Greek word Z, which means he lives, and so it's the story of what happens after his fall. Mm-hmm. And how that it enriched him. That he got that close, he was able to keep going and make a triumphant return. Yeah. It reminds me of Gaethje, right? Like he fell. Mm-hmm. He got close to the sun. His wings melted, fell to the ground, and got back up and went back there again. So I just love that.
You a Fight Club guy? You ever seen that? You kind of look like Brad Pitt.
I wish. Yes. Baby, if my wife is listening, just you make sure you listen.
Come on, you got the same facial structure. But Brad Pitt, he says at one point, he's like, it's only after you've lost everything that you're free to do anything.
Yeah.
That's why it's important to dare to be great. And
okay, not to interrupt you, but how do you get back there again? Because I've seen it crumple people.
Yeah.
You know, the fact that they realize that they're immortal.
Yeah.
Like Ilya's going to have to look in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because he had a God complex.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And his hands have backed him up. Mm-hmm. So how do you get there? How is that just resilience and mental strength and building up that? What is that?
Yeah, I think it's going to be hard for some people, but again, I think the faith piece matters. That's for me, the faith piece matters, but I'm not just going to use that as a cop-out. I think you always have your choice, and we spoke about that a little bit last time, but you get to choose who you want to be and how you choose to see things. In between a stimulus and your response is your choice.
Yeah.
In between stimulus and response lies your choice, and you get to choose how you see things. And the quality of the story that you tell yourself will determine the quality of the emotions you feel, and the quality of the emotions that you live in. Emotions are just energy in motion, will determine the quality of your life. And so it really does matter what story it is. And for some people that's delusional, and it has to be,
I guess so.
You know, but I think it's putting one foot in front of the other and choosing to see everything as your teacher, and everything is here to teach you and help you. This could make Ilya so much better.
Sure could.
It absolutely could. And it ultimately comes down to how he chooses to see it. And nobody can do that for him. And nobody can force him there. And that's what's so beautiful about the ones that are able to get there, is that's a conscious choice to be that guy.
It has to
or
be.
Girl.
But it's easy to talk about. Like, the words are easy. Mm-hmm. I think everybody knows, oh yeah, I'm going to take this as a positive. I'm going to learn from it. I'm going to do these things. Mm-hmm. But there's that inner little piece in there of you that doesn't believe it.
What part of that is you? Is that?
Maybe it's your ego, because you're sad that you lost dramatically, you know?
Well, what do you think that voice would be saying?
You're going to get knocked out again. Yeah. This just shows that you were never as good as you were.
Uh-huh.
That's what that voice says.
I think so too. Yeah, and that's, to me, self-one, which is why it's so important for you to have your process in place to know that voice and to be able to discern.
Is that strength? Does the strength to do that just come from repetition of those? Like washing your mind in it again and again?
I think so. Neuroplasticity would say that. Neuroplasticity says that neurons that fire together wire together.
Yeah.
And so based on how you think, based on how you feel, the language for your unconscious mind, your body is emotions. And based on how you behave, you know, I don't want to oversimplify it, but rewires your brain. And when you tell yourself a story so many times, such as I'm bad at remembering names, eventually that becomes hardwired, and you identify as that. And so just as you can identify with things that aren't even accurate, you could do the opposite as well, and choose to tell yourself a story and feed yourself with things that serve you. And it doesn't always have to be positive. I'm not sure Gaethje was being positive when he was talking about leading up to the fight. He's just saying, these are the facts. You know, the facts are you might get knocked out again, and that's part of it. And I think when we add to the facts and we make it an emotional thing is when we get beat up and we lose our way. So that's something you have to work. That is why your buddy that says, oh, I did the sports psychology stuff, I'm good now. No, this is a daily recommitment, because the devil is patient and your floor gets dirty when you don't sweep it. Yeah. And you got to tell yourself every single day who you are. That's a discipline thing. I hate to say it. People love to pretend that they're so disciplined because they come to the gym and train every day. I mean, it's easy to come here and train with you. Yeah. Trust me. Yeah. It's easy for me. I love training with you. Right. You know what's hard is sitting down and confronting myself every single fucking morning. That's the hard part of my day-to-day. That's the hard part of being an athlete. Yeah. Is to be courageous enough to go, this is how I'm thinking. This is how I need to be thinking. Let me remind myself of this person. Let me write affirmations. Let me pray. Let me meditate. Meditation is proven to down-regulate you. You take your brainwaves from beta to alpha to theta, which theta is you're almost asleep. Right. Beta we're in right now, but alpha is like this meditative state. And so like all these tools are tangible. And if we can meditate, like it's proven that you can slow your brain waves. And when you get into that alpha and theta state, I don't want to overcomplicate it, but when you get into a real meditative state and you sit there, like your heart softens and you become a more creative self, and you're very suggestible to the emotions that you feel and to the thoughts that you are having. That's a real skill to learn how to drop into that. And those are ways that you can rewire your subconscious mind as well. You know, but that's a discipline. Yeah. It's uncomfortable to sit with yourself.
It is hard.
Could you sit with yourself right now for 60 minutes, you think?
No, right. For sure. I tried meditating for a little bit. I wanted to be good at it. I just hated it. And it was very, very hard. And I didn't have the discipline to keep going. Yeah. And I didn't have a goal at the end of it, right? Like it wasn't, I don't know if that's the thing either. The path is the way.
Always got to be a goal, right?
Yeah. Well, you know, what are you doing? Yeah. And it didn't feel like I was improving at it.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? What was bad about it?
I would drift off. I'd either be sleepy and not, you know, I wasn't doing a good job of gently reminding myself. Yeah. Right? Like I wasn't being that way. I was like, hey, dummy.
Yeah. But isn't that funny? That's the same voice that is telling you not to draw.
Yeah.
It's the same exact voice. Yeah. And so, hey, dummy. The whole point of mindfulness meditation is that your mind's going to wander. And people are like, oh, I don't know, I'm not good at meditating. Like my brother in Christ, the whole point of this is that you are supposed to have your mind wander and you bring it back to your breath. Yeah. And this judgment piece that you are being forced to confront about yourself is everything that's holding you back from everything else, which complements our earlier conversation. Like, those moments teach you to know that voice and do it anyways. Yeah. It's like a little animal inside of you. Think of it like a dog. And you're sitting down meditating and your mind wanders. You're like, man, I could be doing all this shit to be more productive. That's me. And it's like, no, be quiet, sit in the corner and observe. Yeah. And I'm going to be here. And then eventually you break past it. And so now that is a vote for me being the type of person who can recognize a thought and recommit to what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. I've heard it said like, it's a gentle child. Treat your wandering as a child. Yeah. Hey, just come on. It's all right. Yeah. It's okay you went over there, but we're going to stay here.
Love and interest.
Not me, boy. I hit him with a stick. Boy, I hit my child with a stick. Get back in there on task. But I think that's why I was so bad at it.
But doesn't that complement everything we're talking about with getting started and the fear of doing things? Yeah. Like you have to first confront yourself, I believe.
Well, and then if you're bad at it, it's hard like to fight past that thing. I mean, I don't know how many students I've had in here. They come in and it's different than they thought. It's not comfortable. Whatever it is that's not making them, you know, they wrestled and, I don't like this gi. Whatever it is, it's a fear of trying. It's a fear of growing past that, you know.
When they're bad at it. Like, again, bad is judgment. And it's like just being a beginner.
Well, and they're saying that's their word, not mine necessarily.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, they're bad. And it's like, there is no good or bad. You're just here to experience today. Yeah. And just keep showing up and experiencing, and the natural learning process occurs and you will develop the ability. But again, the judgment, exactly like you're saying, I don't like this gi because I'm a wrestler. It's bad. The judgment is what stops them from going. Yeah. And so if they can just be courageous and vulnerable enough to delay judgment, I'm just asking you to delay it. Not even to never have it, just delay it. Can you give John Crouch 2 months? Yeah. Go to John Crouch's class for 2 months, wrestler. And I promise you, he'll get better and he will enjoy it. He'll get to be around you. He'll submit someone and he'll love it. But it's just delaying judgment, you know?
Well, how would you encourage? So we're talking about that fear of beginning, kind of brings us back again to it. What are the things a person could do if they feel themselves being kind of like hesitant to try new things? Mm-hmm. What's the first step? Like, what would you tell them right away? Do this to get started.
Again, I'd say the morning pages. I would say the meditation. I would say call the MMA lab and schedule the class. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like schedule it and commit
but it could be anything, right? Like it could be the art class you're talking about. It could be the pottery. Your wife wants you to square dance with her.
Yeah.
You're like, no, I'm not square dancing.
Yeah.
How do you get past that first thing? Is it just knowing it's there and then just doing it anyway?
I believe so. I think it's acknowledging it and not indulging in it. And I think also from a very tactical standpoint, I'll have that hockey player schedule the pottery class and put it on his calendar. It's not real until it's on the calendar, and pay for it and go. And
then it's real.
Then it's real.
It comes out of your bank account. You're like, I better go to pottery.
Exactly. But again, at some point, it is up to you. It is your choice, and nobody's going to force you to do anything. And I think the day that you realize that agency matters, like if you're going to have any skill as an athlete or as an entrepreneur or a high achiever, agency. Yeah. Agency is the ability to believe that you'll find a way. Gaethje, he's out of the running for the belt, but he has agency. He believes he'll find a way. Yeah. An entrepreneur who doesn't know how to do X, Y, and Z, look it up. Have agency, find a way. And I think that's a skill. You know, I think a lot of our self-doubt can stem from agency. It can stem from a locus of control, like focusing on things that are out of your control. And for you to recognize, okay, I'm feeling insecure because I feel like, you know, this is uncomfortable for me. It's something I've never done. And I'm feeling insecure because I don't think that I have the ability to be very good at this. Maybe it's adaptability that's holding them back. But for you to be able to diagnose, you know, what is this that is making me have this doubt, and then work to develop that skill of agency or work to develop that skill of adaptability. And a lot of the times the way you develop that skill is just by going and doing it. Yeah. You know?
That's hard though. Mm-hmm. And I agree. Like you're driving the bus. Mm-hmm. It's your life. Mm-hmm. You get to decide which way you're turning, you know, or if you're just going to sit there and be parked. Mm-hmm. But it is hard for people to break through that ego moment, you know, to be childlike again. Yeah. You know, hey, we're going to go to dance class. And they're like, I don't even know what that is. Let's go. Mm-hmm. And as a kid, as an adult, you're like, you have a whole series of things you're thinking of. Mm-hmm. I know what that means. Already a dancer popped into your head, either for better or for worse. Yeah. It could be Richard Simmons. It might be Mikhail Baryshnikov, but it's a dancer. Mm-hmm. And then that either holds you back or encourages you to go. Mm-hmm. But I wonder, there is no easy answer.
Yeah. What role do you think identity plays into it?
Probably a ton. Yeah. Who you think you are. Mm-hmm. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I think I'm this person. Yeah. I'm using dance as a whatever, but it could be anything, you know? Yep. I don't want to go out on the water and row. Why not? But it might be somebody that's a little bit overweight and they're not as physical and they don't want to get in a dang kayak because they're scared they're going to tip over. Right. And all the people will see me on the shore and I'll be embarrassed. They'll have to get out there and come get me out of the dang water. Yeah. But those fears are difficult. And I think about that when I was thinking about this subject with you today. It's trying to help some of those people. Yeah. Because you're that person. You're going to stretch yourself. You're going to try the new thing. Mm-hmm. And I like to think I would too. Not as dramatically, you know, but still new ideas, new thoughts, all that kind of stuff. Yep. And so my thinking of talking to you today is helping somebody's mom at home, like nervous to try something else. Yeah. Kids are gone now. Yep. Right there, your youngest went to college, and you're 40-something, and man, my life used to be filled with all this richness as it was my kids, but it was vicarious. Mm-hmm. Now, how do I start on these things myself?
Yeah, I think to try again, it would be identity and understanding that you are always practicing something, and whatever you practice, your brain doesn't care what you care about, it cares what you practice. Yeah. And you always have your choice in who you want to be. And if you can identify and prove it to yourself through small decisions every day that you are the type of person who is high agency and who is vulnerable and tries new things, you know, maybe you ask the barista what her name is. I don't know. That's a small win for being vulnerable. It's a tally for being the type of person who is vulnerable. I think that would be my message is this is on your time. And there's no rush. This mom that's nervous to come and try jujitsu or dance, whatever it is, there's no rush. And let's just understand why you're feeling this way. And let's stack small wins, small proof to be the type of person who is courageous. Because identity is the deepest layer of behavior change. I think that your behaviors in your life are the outermost reflection of your innermost identity. So who you are in your life is just exposing how you see yourself. And so let's just start to prove to ourselves through tiny habits and tiny wins that we're that type of person.
Did you hear that my interview with Jose Delgado?
I didn't.
He was a high school wrestler, and he thought if he won state championships, that meant he would be an MMA fighter. And he didn't. Something happened. I don't remember what it was. It was, but he didn't get to go. Oh, he lost his spot. the week before state.
Really?
And he didn't get to compete. And he was like, oh, no.
He's a stud, by the way.
I don't know. He's a stud.
Yeah.
But he said he always planned to come here. And he drove to the gym. He lived an hour away. Drove all the way here into the parking lot and didn't get out of his car and drove home. He said the first time. But maybe that's the mom's first step.
And isn't that a tally, though? He drove. Like, James Clear will tell you to go. James Clear wrote Atomic Habits. He'll say, you don't want to work out? Show up to the gym and walk on the treadmill for 1 minute and then leave.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's going to feel so comical that you're going to stay for longer. Because it's a start that stops most people. Yes. But even just getting on the treadmill is a vote for the type of person you're becoming. You're the type of person who follows through on what they say they're going to do.
Committed to the process of going. That's big.
Yeah. You did go. Yeah,
you didn't stay sitting on the couch.
Yep, exactly right. By the way, isn't Jose making YouTube videos?
Is he?
Yeah, I thought he was, right? I thought I saw it on Instagram. Yeah.
Oh, he's hilarious, though.
YouTube?
I think he's got a couple.
Yeah, I think some of these guys are making YouTube, though.
Oh, good.
Isn't that a creative act? Like, I see Sugars doing it. Some of these guys are doing it. That's a creative act.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it's not their intention, but I just think it's cool to see.
Well, some of them open up themselves. I love that.
I do too.
It's cool to see. And, you know, in this day and age, it's really important for people to be able to engage with them other than watching them fight.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I'm that kid. My son is that kid. Like, I love this guy because he represents me.
He's a human being. And, and Michaelin loves Embedded. Like, we watch all the Embeddeds, and she has her fighters. She always calls Anthony Smith. What do you say? He's the guy with what?
The guy with the kids.
The guy with the kids. I'm like, okay. But she, like, remembers that because of Embedded, and it's cool to see behind the scenes. But, yeah.
That's my favorite. I love the NFL, what's it called? It's on
Hard
HBO.
Knocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's gotten less. I like the real stuff. Like the personality stuff I like, but I love seeing how the coaches run things and how they make the mechanism of being a champion, because that's what I want. I want champions forever.
So I have a guy, Caden Davis. We can get back on task, but Caden Davis is a football player that I've worked with. He was a all SEC kicker at Ole Miss, and he played for the Jets for a little bit and for the Bills for a little bit. And he, in Hard Knocks, goes up against Josh Allen on like this game, and he's like this guy who's a pretty reserved guy, but he's got to be a little bit more outward, like more childlike.
Yeah.
And he beat Josh Allen and won the game on Hard Knocks. So if you go back and watch, he was the one who won it. But super cool. Yeah.
Did he give Josh Allen a hard time for the rest? I'd call him every week.
No, he's so gracious. He's like the best guy ever. He's just gracious and just took the win and left. But
that's funny, man.
Yeah. You see up there, second to last line. It says, at least fails while daring greatly. Yep. That's the Brene Brown book called Daring Greatly, and her whole thing is vulnerability.
Nice.
Yeah, it's all from the man in the arena.
This is so, I wonder, as you go through history, you wonder if people are credited with, like, did Theodore Roosevelt write that?
I know.
You know what I mean? Because I was thinking about this quote from Socrates, the beginning of wisdom is the definition of terms.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like if we're describing an animal, and you think it's a pig and I think it's a cow, we can't even talk about it until we figure out what it means for us.
Yeah, I think that's a very empowering thing. Some of my favorite minds take that approach of like, you know, I define it this way, and so now that I understand the definition, I can understand what leads to that.
Well, and our being able to work together, we have to understand what definition is, right? So if you talk about, we talk about whatever, morning pages, and I think it means one thing, and you think it means another, and I'm doing it the wrong way, then I'm not even doing the work that we're talking about.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Completely agree.
So that's off the line a little bit, but it makes me, when I think about people and their quotes, how often we've maybe juxtaposed words. People think Shakespeare maybe didn't write his works, but he's credited with all this stuff.
Carl Jung's another one. He's a big... like he's the one that said, until you make your unconscious conscious, the unconscious will rule your life. You go on Twitter or Instagram and everybody is quoting different quotes from Carl Jung. And you're like, was it really Carl Jung? Or like C.S. Lewis, another one. Yeah, I've seen that too.
C.S. Lewis is a big faith guy too, right?
Oh, I'm a big C.S. Lewis guy.
Before that, one of my favorite things is seeing memes where they go, the internet has ruined the youth of today, Abraham Lincoln.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Those crack me up because that's exactly on what we're talking about. Is you don't quite know if it's 100% or not. Yeah.
C.S. Lewis is awesome though. Like that's talk about creativity as a natural order of life. That's the guy that wrote Narnia.
Yeah, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Yeah, but he also wrote the Screwtape Letters, and which is a cool read. Like if you're a Christian, you got to read the Screwtape Letters because it's the perspective of a demon talking to its other demon, like to its nephew demon. So it's uncle demon, nephew demon. He's like, my dearest Wormwood, That's the demon's name. And he's talking to the younger demon about how to sabotage the individual. And he's like, just give him uncertainty in his life, and he will surely take his eyes off of God. And, you know, to get him to take his eyes off, or to take his focus off of his mom who is sick, just have this woman walk by and have her cleavage out a little bit more. Like these little temptations in the world, it's easy to be conformed to the world.
Yeah.
And when you read that book from a demon's perspective, it's almost like inverting, like you're realizing what they would do to sabotage us. And I'm like, wait a minute. Uncertainty takes us out of the present moment, which is where God is. We've said that. The unknown is the present moment, which is where we are in his presence. And if you could just get me to contemplate, because what you consume, you contemplate, what you contemplate, you become. If you could just get me to contemplate the dangers of uncertainty, I will surely take my eyes off of God. I will surely take my eyes off of, just call it the process, right? So it's a cool book, even if you're not a believer, to understand the way your mind, call it your mind and not the demon, can sabotage you. You know, the things that will lead you to abandoning your good approach, your good perspective, your good behavior.
I like the idea of understanding your enemy. Like for him to, you have to understand your enemy to be able to win the battle, right? So to take a look at it through your enemy's eyes,
right?
You understand what they're trying to do. You can better fight their tactics, right? And that goes for athletes too, right? To understand, hey, this is what's fighting against my process. That's the enemy, right?
Knowing the voice and naming the voice. I like where you're going with that though. Like, know the enemy. What's he like? Go write about him. Like have your athletes go get their journal out and literally write about their enemy and make them all name it.
Yeah.
And the artist way, she calls it Nigel, right? Mine is just Drake. Like Drake is critical and impatient, but in college I would say champagne. But like Sip is creative and trusting, you know? So I think to name it and to know it, you make such a good point, to know your enemy. And know what they say and what they like to do. Again, that's effective labeling in a way. That is creating space from that version of you, because you're no longer seeing it as you,
right?
Which now reactivates part of your brain that allows you to solve problems, compared to just dwelling in the anxiety. Once you can separate it from it, you can actually take steps forward. Because if I have you have this anxiety for whatever it is, and we take the emotion out of it, what is left? It's just situations to solve.
I was thinking about, that's another thing I wanted to define when I was going through our notes and thinking about what we would talk about is anxiety. And looked at the definition of it in the dictionary is very negative, right? It's like you feeling terrible. What is it? The definition, negative, apprehension, nervousness, unease, where the psychological one is, it's just different circumstances that you're not used to.
Unknowns,
Yeah. So it's not the way we look at it. So when we talk about having performance anxiety, for example, it's already negative. But some of those feelings are necessary for survival.
Agreed.
And especially in an athletic world, right? Like when we're cavemen, we feel that way so we can get away from the bear or the lion or feed ourselves, you know? And as you step into the cage or you step into competition, those primal fight or flight reflexes are absolutely necessary. But we have to control them. Right?
Isn't that why Gaethje says he visualizes him losing? Because he says it exactly as you're saying, makes you tap into that primal state. You know, he has to get himself there. And when he gets himself there, he trusts that will be enough and he could just go with it. But it's having a good relationship with it. You know?
How do you do that? But I heard the saying that is you're going to have butterflies, but we're going to have them fly in formation.
Yeah, John Jones.
Isn't that good?
Yeah.
And so how do you start with that? So I come to you and I'm like, man, I do really well in practice. I've done all these things and I go to my performance and I don't do well. I have performance anxiety. Do you accept that as a label? Like, is that a definition you use or is that a good place to start?
Yeah. It's such a good question because I don't really ever label people. I'm not like, oh, you have anxiety.
Yeah, that's a weird.
It's a dangerous game. I work with this guy who plays professional baseball and he was talking to like the team guy and the team sports psych. And he's like, oh, you have anxiety. Like you need to be in here with me. You have anxiety. And I'm like, my brother, we all have anxiety. Yeah. I got anxiety right 100%. Now. Yeah. And it's like, I just think you got to be super careful how you speak to your athletes. Like Their minds are a beautiful thing and a very delicate thing, and you have to be intentional about what you feed them. That's part of being a coach, is how you feed them, but also being honest, but intentional with how you're honest. And so no, I'm not going to label them. I will confront that. Yeah, you have anxiety, and like that's a part of it. What a gift. Everything is here to teach you and help you. And now we can learn to dance with it, to dance with the sharks. And when you learn to dance with it, it actually gets better. You know, when you make an emotion or a thought conscious and you learn to observe it. So instead of identifying with it unconscious, we learn to observe it. You actually create space from it, and you actually start to, it gets up and it walks away. We talked about that a little bit last time, but you know, I think it's understanding what it is, and then having a process to be able to downregulate, and also being willing to confront it. You know, there's a baseball player that I work with who's actually coaching for me now, and he always tells this story. He's working with one of the greatest sports psychs in baseball. And he's like, I have anxiety. He goes, good, turn it up to a 10. He's like, what? He's like, turn it up to a 10. He's like, all right. And so when he turns it up to a 10, he's accepting it. Yeah. And when you accept it, a lot of the times it actually gets better. Does it go away? No. Is it a fix? No, you don't really need a fix. It's okay if it's there, because if you look at an anxiety scale of 1 to 3, it makes you sharper. 4 to 6, it starts to maybe get out of control. 7 to 9, you're out of control. So can we just keep it in that scale that helps you? Yeah. And things like breath work, things like journaling, things like meditation. Meditation is proven to shrink your amygdala. Meditation is proven to make the threat less for you. Like there's a reason these great performers do this. So there are things out there where you can develop an ability to navigate it. Everybody is messed up, and some people are just better at managing it. Yeah. You know, and that's a skill. That's part of the mental game.
How does it, for me, and I was never a great athletic performer, right? But I didn't, well, in jiu-jitsu, I never did well. And some of that was some performance issues. But like as a test taker or a big moment guy, I'm never shook. Never. I mean, literally, I'm like, let's go. Yeah. If you told me I had to speak, well, I talk all the time now, but some people are so frightened of public speaking, right? If they have to get up in front of 3 people, they are like, things are terrible. Yeah. Like you could put me in front of Mile High Stadium and there's 80,000 people, and you could try to make me nervous. I'd be like, I mean, let's do it. And so do you notice that people are better or worse naturally? Jiu-jitsu jacked me up. Football, I would run down the field. I was on the kickoff team, and I was the gunner. I would run into a human being as hard as I possibly could. I would think I'm going to kill him or I'm going to kill me on this play. And that never happened. And I got up and I was ready to go. But with an individual sport, it was very hard for me. And I didn't compete enough to get used to it, which is the other thing, I guess. But how do you differentiate? Like if are some people just naturally better at that? Yeah. Like dealing with the ups and downs of it?
I think some people are unconsciously just better at it. Some people just don't make it as big of a deal. That's why it's so cool, the mental game, because everybody's different and you have to meet them where they're at. Absolutely. But I think it's a normal thing. I think everybody comes up against it at some point. Yeah. And you know, what's interesting about your situation is how quick you are to tell me and identify with and expect that if you had to go give a public speech, you expect that you'd be calm. Yeah. Expectation bias, you know, and you identify with it, and you have proof. By the way, you have proof. So you can lean on that. But there is something very real about how you just talked about both scenarios. You identify as somebody who is a great public speaker. You tell yourself a story that you wouldn't get nervous. And so therefore you expect it, right? It's like the example it's like some study done on steroids. We got group A and group B, and group A is doing steroids, and they're bodybuilders and they're professionals, right? And they go out and on average over their training block, they increased on average 4% more than the other group doing steroids. And which means that other people had bigger gains than 4%. By the way, these are people that have been doing this average. People have been doing this for a long time. These people that are training.
4% is huge for somebody that's been doing it.
Right. Yeah. And then you look at it and it's sugar pills that they're taking. Oh. And it's like placebo. I put 2 glasses of wine right here. Shout out F3. And and this wine is the expensive wine. And they say wine is a cheap wine. And I pour the same wine in both. And I have you drink them and you don't know it. You actually have parts of your brain that go off on the expensive wine. Yeah. Right. One last one I'll tell you on the expectation bias is there's this study done where somebody draws a scar on John's face, and you go out in public and it's to see how you're perceived with a scar. And so right before you go out, they touch up the scar, make sure it looks good. And you go out there and you come back and you report. Yeah, I was perceived in a way where people were cold to me and closed off because of this scar I have, and they're treating me differently because of it. And you go back and you watch the video and nobody treated him any different. But here's the biggest kick. You go back and you realize when they touched up the makeup, there was no scar. Yeah. They wiped the scar off. Yeah, because it was originally drawn on him. They wipe it off. And so this idea of expectation bias is crazy, because it truly is whatever you expect, there's a real physiological response that you have. You know, it's like people will have you do this experiment where you visualize licking a lemon. You close your eyes and it's like, lick the lemon, squeeze the lemon in your mouth, put it in your mouth and bite it. And then your mouth starts salivating, right? So there's a real physiological response to the way that you choose to see things. And that's why I'm like, we need to feed self too. Yeah. You know, you need to tell him how to think and feed him with affirmation and with things to believe about himself that are empowering. That is your choice.
So what's the line between, I don't want to say delusion, but like, ever since I was young, I didn't get nervous in front of people, right? Like I was 13 years old, 14 years old, and I was the drum major of the marching band, right? And I didn't think about it too much. I liked it. I liked the attention. I liked being the center of it. Right. I didn't really think, I mean, I don't remember saying to myself, hey, I'll be really good at this. And eventually, as I did it more and more and more, I'm in front of people, I just don't get nervous about it. So I am affirming it, but also I didn't when I was younger. And then when I did jiu-jitsu, like I was a fierce competitor. Like if we played Monopoly, board's getting flipped. I'm winning.
I love it.
When I was younger, like I was mad. Like I literally, my girlfriend, we'd play a game and it'd be it. Yeah. For the day, I'd be out of there.
Yeah.
You know.
It's the closest
and
we've ever been to breaking up.
I'm not saying that's right either, right? Like I'm not proud of it. Yeah. But I was an intense competitor, so I'm doing jiu-jitsu tournaments, and I fully expect to do great, and I don't, and then that's a weird thing. So how do you find that? Like I don't think it was necessarily, I wasn't negatively affirming myself in jiu-jitsu, or I don't remember that, but I didn't perform as well, and I couldn't find how I was supposed to feel. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Supposed to, right? Like you are just supposed to be. You don't have to do anything. There's just be. You just have to go out there and be in the moment. And like, I want to be careful there because it's oversimplified, but I always push people away from trying to do things and just more so learning how to be. But I do believe in what you're saying, that it's not just affirmations and looking at yourself in the mirror and saying things. And I can see how what I said can make it look like, oh, all you have to do is just believe and expect it. No, you got to do the work. Yeah. And I do believe that confidence sometimes follows competency. Yeah. You know, and there's this great coach who tells this story all the time in jiu-jitsu class about Z and Z's experience. Will you tell me, what was Z's experience with competing?
Well, he had a terrible high school experience, right? Not terrible. Yeah. He just wasn't as successful as he wanted to be as a wrestler. He picked me up and we started talking. He picked me up from the airport when I came in. He was kind of the first person I met here. And he's like, yeah, I just got my blue belt, but when I compete, I don't do well. And all I said to him was like, well, let's compete more then. Oh. Let's figure it out. Let's do it again and again. And as a blue belt, he finished like 8th, 7th, 8th, 6th, 6th, 4th, 7th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st. Got his purple belt. Same thing. 8, 8, 10, 8, 6, 5, 4, 6, 3, 2, 1. Ended up winning all the state tournaments. And then as a brown, he did the same thing. Like didn't do well, but he used it to build his game and build his confidence, and he believed in that process of getting better. And you know, as a brown belt, he won no-gi worlds and he won the gi worlds, both as a brown belt. And that's pretty amazing for somebody that thought he wasn't a good performer.
Right. And the confidence piece, by the way, it doesn't even really matter if you feel confident. You got to go out there and do it anyways. 100%. Feeling good's overrated, but the confidence that he has did follow the competency. 100%. And he was able to delay judgment. Do we have a pen in here anywhere? Yeah. Pen. Can I draw on one of the back of these papers? Of course you can. You can draw on anything you want. This is your house. I told you. Come on, baby. Thank you. So, again, his competency followed his confidence followed the competency. And now the only thing that gets in the way of your progress is judgment. That's why we have to delay judgment, and we have to be eager to take the smallest step forward and just collect data and move back. Z's going from 3rd place to 6th place, back to 3rd, back to 2nd to 1st. Like, the only thing that's going to stop him from continuing to go on is him judging and shaming himself and expectations. Jensen Huang created NVIDIA. He says expectations make people have low resilience. It takes what it takes. If it takes you 5 years to get your purple belt, okay. It takes what it takes. The work is the win. It will work on you. Yeah. But we have this expectation here. This is what we expect it to look like, right? That's what you expect your drawing to look like right there, right? And it really like is probably something more like this, like more exponential, right? And now this is, shout out James Clear. This is called, he calls this the valley of latent potential, right? So we have the exponential line of how it actually is. We have the line of what we think it is. And I call this the valley of faith. He calls it the valley of I think, latent potential, like delayed gratification. Right. This is where Z is getting 6th, 5th, 7th. And this is the question is, are you able to just keep going and keep showing up? And that will determine everything for you. Yeah. So, you know, I think with the, I think you answered your own question there on how would you have overcome it. You know, I think you just do it more. Yeah. You know, I'm nervous. I was in my car before my first podcast with you, like tapping my face, like doing my journal. And I was nervous today. But I was better today. Yeah. Because it's my second time with you. Yeah. So that's everything, I believe.
Yeah, and that's true. I didn't think about it like that. I like that. Just the repetition of it, as long as you're doing the work. I talk about that in jiu-jitsu class all the time, right? Mm-hmm. Don't be scared to lose. Be scared of not doing the next thing. Mm-hmm. Just do the next thing. Yeah. And it's okay. It's going to work sometimes. If I go against you and you're too good, it's not going to work. Yeah. But I'm going to practice some more. I'm going to come find you again. Yeah. Oh, it worked that time, except something else happened. Mm-hmm. And you just keep building that brick by brick, piece by piece, whatever. But that makes sense. Yeah. How is that? I mean, is that anxiety part, the negative definition of anxiety? Mm-hmm. I've seen it really affect some people. So have you. Mm-hmm. And they can't seem to work past it. Mm-hmm. What's the wall there?
Yeah, I think it's your relationship with it. It's the story you tell yourself about it. And, you know, some people just have different levels of anxiety for sure. And there are things that are coming up that might be greater than the sport, you know, so that's worth mentioning. But I think a lot of the time it's the fear of it. When you're scared of it and you're not willing to confront it, it just grows.
Yeah, I guess that's right.
And it takes time and it takes what it takes, but your ability to be willing to put yourself in that position and then trust your training. You've trained this. This is, you and I have done the work to train these moments, train for these moments. We know the breath work that regulates you. We know the journaling process that helps you get external. You know, we know that you are not your anxiety, you are the observer of your anxiety. So instead of saying, I am anxious, I am noticing that I have feelings of anxiety. Yeah. I was saying that today. I'm noticing that there is some anxiety that I feel about this. And when I say I notice it, I'm no longer identifying with it. So it's just people that...
Not I am anxious.
Yeah. It's people that...
But I see this in the distance.
Yeah. So it's an over-identification with a emotional state. And if you can get good at effective labeling, which is labeling the emotion and treating it as a separate entity, that's the first step. And that takes time. Yeah. And by the way, you'll still feel anxious. I teach this and I still feel anxious. So I'm not here to fix you or remove your anxiety. It's a part of you. Yeah. And the day that you actually accept that it's a part of you, it's the little version of you. You can envision like little 4-year-old John, right? Coming up to our desk right now. And he's like, you know, I'm anxious. And you're like, get the fuck out of here. And he would blow up, you know? And so it's like being willing to just see him is enough, in my opinion. But that's a courageous thing. It takes courage.
What's your first step with those people? Somebody comes to you like, hey man, I throw a 98 and I have these 3 great pitches and this is what I can do in practice. Mm-hmm. And I get in the game and I don't have my control. I feel like I lose myself. How do you take that first step with them?
Mm-hmm. I ask questions a lot. I ask questions about where they're at. What are they doing? You know, what are their habits like? What are their behaviors like? I listen very
personal behaviors too, like their whole
life. Okay. Yeah. And like, have they ever worked with somebody? What are they doing on a day-to-day basis to navigate that? And so like small things go a long way. So starting to bring some structure to your life. Just can you go to bed at a consistent time and can you wake up at a consistent time? Can we start there? You know, can we make sure that you're drinking water and eating enough food? Like, let's start with the bare minimum, right? And then let's go into it. Can you tell me what your experience is like with meditation? And what do you know to be true about meditation? Why do you think meditation could help you? What's your experience with a pre-competition journal? What's your experience with a pre-competition routine? You know, and as you start to discern what they've done and what they haven't done, you can understand where to help them. It's different for everybody, but some people need a little bit more structure, something to keep them external. So a journal, focusing on what you're writing, keeps them external. Breath work, focusing on your breath, keeps you external. Novak Djokovic says you're going to have moments where you're not present. It's fine. Just bring it back to your breath. Conscious breathing. Conscious breathing is to consciously focus on your breath. And so for each individual, it's different, but it's just about giving them something to go to. It's not uncharted territories. It's envisioning that happening and then you down regulating.
Yeah.
You know, and I deal with it every day. So like I'm not shocked by it. And by the way, just my energy alone to make them realize that they're not crazy.
Yeah.
You know, I think one of the first things
some people think that's only them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're broken. And it's like, no, we all got it. And some people have it more than others. But one of the first things that people receive from you is your nervous system, which is nuts. And so for me, it's important for me to go into those calls and be regulated. Same for you as you go into class with these fighters, guys that are losing, girls that are losing or winning, and for you to be steady.
Yeah.
And I think that's a huge role there, is just letting them know that they're not crazy and then giving them actual tangible tools to navigate it.
Do people expect a fast fix on that?
All of them.
Because I think humans, I did. Either you have it or you don't. Mm-hmm. Like either you are. Like I'm anxious. Anxious, again, that term is weird for me. I don't quite accept it now.
Good.
That I was reading about it, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, because I love those feelings. I to go up a little bit, but with when Jared Cannonier fought Izzy, you know, we didn't win the fight, but Izzy walked out doing the Undertaker thing. Mm-hmm. Do you remember?
I remember it, yeah.
And every time I go to the ring now, I look around and I try to just put my cleats in the grass and be right there. Because I want to be. Yeah. I don't want to be taken over by the moment. I need to be there for my guy.
Yeah.
And I remember feeling that and being like, I looked over at Rob and I go, this is the best it gets as a human being right now. Because you're right on that moment of you get to do this thing. And now it's not defined yet. Like that feeling is, you're so big, you're superhuman. Blissful, at that moment. Fucking love it.
Yeah.
It's the best thing ever. And I love that, but it's sometimes hard to get to that spot, you know, where you're just right there accepting all that stuff inside and then able to turn that into a performance.
Were you always like that, to be able to do that?
I practiced it as a coach, because I don't want to be the guy that's all emotional and throwing his hat around and, you know, mad about X, Y, and Z. And I'm still that guy sometimes. Like sometimes we win unexpectedly and I don't know, I've cried a couple of times and I didn't even know where that came from. I didn't feel like that. When Ben beat Islam Mamedov here in Phoenix, I thought it was his last fight. They gave him Mamedov to lose, you know, and Mamedov was like, whatever, 27-1 or whatever. He's Khabib's teammate, this monster. And Ben had been like kind of up and down and a little older. And we went through the fight and it was a split decision. And it was a very close fight. And Ben had given up some terrible positions like he always does. All these grays are from Ben.
Yeah.
Not all. My kids have a couple.
But
and they announced it and I broke. Like I cried like a baby.
Really?
I stayed out of the ring. I literally was like sobbing and I'm like, what the hell is going on here? So I think just I liked it though. Like, I like thinking back on it that I let it in. I just could never quite figure it out.
Yeah.
But most of the time I'm pretty good about I want to be unemotional, you know? And I was in the fight. It was just afterwards I kind of lost it.
Which is awesome.
You know?
Yeah. Which is awesome.
I was happy for him, you know? Ben's put a lot of time and we've done a lot together. But just being there in that moment, I like, some football coach said, be where your cleats are. Killed me. I was like, yep.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll have baseball players like feel the dirt under their cleats.
Yeah.
Can you just feel the dirt? Can you hear the sound? I got a baseball player that like looks in the stands and he's like, can I see the face of somebody? And, like actually see him and take a breath on it. That's external, you know? And by the way, I think you crying after the fight just speaks volumes to what kind of coach you are. You know, like that's the kind of coach that I would want to play for. That's amazing. But what's cool about what you said about coming into the ring and just taking a second to just be and to just see is enough. you're there.
Yeah.
The moment you realize you're not present is the moment you are present.
Yeah.
And that's enough. And like literally you learned from your experiences where maybe you're sped up and now you come into the ring and you just take 1 second to just be there.
Yeah.
And feel your feet on the ground.
I like the idea of gratitude for that kind of thing. You know, like gratitude in your life is everything. And that's really been like what, the last 20 years or so that people really talk about that. Because when I was young, that wasn't in the lexicon. Like people didn't talk about being grateful. It was about being tough, showing up and doing your thing. It's old school, you know, I'm an old guy. So being grateful, but in that moment looking like, hey, it doesn't get better than this, man. Like you're a lucky dude. You're with the best people on earth. And that's the moment I like before it happens, because nothing good or nothing bad. We win, it's the greatest thing ever. We lose, it's the worst thing ever. No, the greatest thing ever is that moment right before it goes. You know,
daring to be great, daring greatly, right? Yeah.
But what if you fly?
Yeah. What if you fly, baby? You always bring up a good point though, just about how for you to be able to take that second and to take the breath and to be and to just accept the present like we chose it, there is a part of that, as you continue to remind me, that comes from the preparation, a major part of that. You know, the preparation piece allows
you've done it.
You've done what you can. And now it's up to God. And you get to go in there and let your art shine. And no matter what, you'll be up tomorrow and be ready to go again.
Yeah.
You know?
That hurdle, though, between that, like, and that's the thing I'm thinking about with some athletes, right? They just don't they get it. They work really hard. They understand that bad things can happen, good things can happen. I'm just going to go in there and win the next moment or win the next whatever it is, one pitch at a time. But then they get in there and the jump from the words of it to the execution of it is very hard for them. Do you feel that too?
For sure.
How does that go? Is that just repetition? Is that just waves on the sand wearing it down till it's not there anymore? Or is something you learn to fly with it? I should say. Not that it's not there anymore, but we learn now how to work with that feeling or work with those, whatever state that you're in.
I think it's everything you said. I think it is experience. It'll get better with experience, full stop.
Yeah.
But I also think you can prep people to navigate that moment. It's going to happen. And prep them for that. Like that's premortem. That is, you get in the ring and you have this flood of adrenaline and anxiety.
Yeah.
What do you do? You know, what do you do? Do you get real tense or do you take up space? Do you take a breath or do you get internal? You know, let's script it out. Let's figure it out. Write about it. You know, envision it. Visualize this stuff. And you should visualize.
Name your monster.
Exactly right. Okay, that's John, you know, and JC is a mother, you know, a bad dude.
Yeah.
And I see you, John. Okay, I feel it. That's enough. Let me just get back to my breath.
You need to sit over here.
Yeah. The whole point is it's fine.
We got to do some work.
Yeah, but it's fine. You're going to feel this way. Let me just take a breath and get back to the task at hand. And you should have your keys, your mantra, right? You brought up mantra before the last fight that I worked with Leslie.
Yeah.
And there's a great chapter in the ABCs of Pitching that talks about how a mantra is a countervailing force against anxieties, irrelevancies, and distractions.
Yeah. Grounds you, right?
Yeah.
Like puts you in a spot you want to be mentally.
The mantra is the chant, and the chant becomes he who chants it. And eventually you learn to own that thought and say that thought over and over again, this mantra, and eventually you become that thought. So in those moments, go back to your training. Justin Gaethje is talking about what he was focused on going into the fight. He has his couple keys, and then ultimately it's about just letting it happen, which is self too. He knows his few things. I think he said not to go into his right, not to go to the right. I'm not a fighting coach, but but he had his keys,
right.
And
technical keys.
And then at the end of the day, you got to just fight.
Yes.
Go fight. You know.
Getting to that point, I find, is getting people there is hard because they're bringing extra stuff with them, whatever those are, expectations or nerves or anxiety or whatever you want to call it, and it gets in their way of being. They're not willing to fly. Like they're not willing to jump out of the nest to try to fly. So then you just never know what you have, and that's what I would like to do better at, is encouraging people to jump. We built your wings up. It's going to be great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
First flight might be rough. When you start flying more and more, it's like Z getting into those tournaments, you know? What kind of hints do you have for that? Just repetition on that? Just keep doing the work?
Well, I think you could bring structure to it. You know, I would have a routine. I would have a routine before you go fight. Give them something to focus on. When they're sped up and they're really internally focused, focus on how they're feeling, let them execute their pre-fight routine. Get in your journal. Write your affirmations. Let's take 5 minutes of breath work. just 5 minutes. We're going to do it as a team.
Yeah.
You know, when you get into the ring, how are you walking? What does it look like? That should be that should be practiced, in my opinion. I do like the shadow routines. I like just prepare them, to your point, in every way we possibly can, so that come the night of the fight, it's not the first time they've experienced this. They've envisioned this many times.
Yeah.
They've even visualized having nerves and having to take a breath in the ring. I just think the more preparation you can do there, the better. The more visualization you could do there, the better. And then again, we talked about this last time. This is an everyday thing. This isn't a fight camp's coming up, let me start training the mental game. No, this is, I am the type of person who is mentally consistent and reliable and trustworthy with my behavior.
Yeah. You're not only going to throw your jab the day of the fight.
Right.
You're going to jab 7 million times before you get there. That's a good point. You know, we do this exercise sometimes. We don't do it enough. Like I've talked to you before about the struggle to implement a mental training into your training. Mm-hmm. But it is like part of it, right? It's not separate from it. So the way you run drills, the way you structure practices, I get that that's part of it too, you know? But that specific like visualization thing, we're doing it today now.
I love it.
But we just turn everything off and I talk them through it. Like,
amazing. Hey,
you're in your hotel room. What color's the comforter? What does it feel like? Mm-hmm. Is it rough? Is it textured? Is it smooth? Like, how many pillows are there on the bed? Mm-hmm. Like, what color are the walls? What's the carpet look like? Is it that mine's this chained thing in the hallway? You know how you walk down the hallway, and now what vehicle are you riding into the hotel? Who are the people with you? Like, did you pack your bag? Mm-hmm. Your mouthpiece is in there, your cup. You got your shorts. Do you need shorts? If you're in the UFC, you don't, right? Mm-hmm. Like, make sure you have what you want. Who's got the Tide pads? Mm-hmm. And then you get there, like, it's a van. Okay, where do you pull up? Is it a stadium? What is it? Mm-hmm. Picture your walk. Picture the doors. Picture this. Okay, and they call you, hey, you got 5 minutes, Blue. Mm-hmm. How do you feel? Like, what do you do now? Mm-hmm. And it really helps. They love it. And I do too. Mm-hmm. You know, and then you walk them through the fight and you picture the guy's hands going around your wrist and your hand being raised, seeing your family, seeing your teammates. Mm-hmm. Powerful.
So, and I love that you're incorporating that. Do you ever have them visualize like the tough stuff?
That is a group exercise, so it's hard to do that. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I like, oh, you've been hurt. Like, we got to move away. Mm-hmm. That head kick landed a little bit. Don't show them. Mm. You know, make sure we got on our bikes. Good. Yeah. Jab them back. Give them a stink face.
I love that.
Let them know you're good, you know? Yeah. I ever told you the story about Ben when he won the title with Dana?
Was he sleeping before? No.
His first WC fight, he fell asleep on the mat 5 minutes before.
Okay, but tell me the story.
Good Lord. So he won the title in Japan. And I was on the other side of the cage, like everybody's there, and I just wanted to see it. So I walked around, and he saw me, and, you know, kind of had a little moment with each other, you know. Mm. And then when Dana wrapped the belt around his waist, he leaned over his shoulder, and he said something to him. And I get emotional thinking about it. Crazy. So I go, hey, what did you say to him? He said, I've seen this in my mind 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Get chills still thinking about it. Mm-hmm. And he knew he was going to be the champion before he ever was. Mm-hmm. And that strength, that's what made Ben a champion, right? Mm-hmm. And that's something that a lot of people struggle to get to. Like, that wasn't just a repetition. That was real. Mm-hmm. You know, and that's what I was asking you about. Sometimes those mantras or the things you say to yourself can be just words, or they're real. Mm-hmm. And the ability to cement those in, to lock those in, is so important for those athletes. Mm-hmm.
The emotional piece matters. If it's just words, it's just words. It's got to be an emotional thing. Yeah. But that's exactly right. Things happen twice, first in your mind and your reality, and it's a knowingness. It's an expectation thing, and you can see it in those athletes' eyes, and you know that. Yeah. You see it in their eyes. You can see it in Benson's eyes. I still can see it in Benson's eyes, why he was who he is. Yeah. So yeah, I think I love that you're incorporating that into practice, even like training them for in between rounds, how to regulate your breath and breathe deeply.
I need to do better with that. What would you recommend for breathing? Is there somebody that's good at that? I know Sean has some specific breath stuff, but it's through his strength and conditioning guy.
Brandon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen him before. Yeah, he's good. But I do Breathe with Sandy. Shout out Breathe with Sandy on YouTube. It's completely free.
Yeah.
He's got some 5-minute ones. I just did one in the car before this. He's got some 60-minute ones, and it's intense. The whole point of breath work is it teaches you how to increase your capacity for stress.
Yeah.
And because you're breathing in such a way that you're stressing your system, you're moving energy. Right. And a lot of the time the body keeps score. You can consciously ignore emotions, but your body holds on to it. So like breath work can literally help you move that energy.
Yeah. Getting to let go.
Yeah.
And just relax a little bit.
But these athletes need to know how to breathe. Yeah. Breathing is a skill.
Breathing with Sandy.
Breathe with Sandy. Oh, yeah. So good. Hit one of those tonight.
I will for sure.
I think that's good. I think there's little things, and it's not a fix, but having a mind movie you watch every day, which is a highlight tape of yourself. Remind yourself of who you are. Have a mental imagery that you listen to a couple times a week, which is guided breath work into a visualization. I do that for every single one of my athletes. Breath work, and then I give them affirmations, or then I give them looking back on previous success, looking forward to future success. I think all of these things are great skills, but I'm just hope that people hear this and realize that there is a whole world out there of the mental game, and that you should be intentional with it.
Largely untouched.
Right.
Like still, even nowadays, it's just a whole new thing still. Even though it is like the thing, right? Like, what's his name? Michael Gervais worked with the Seahawks. You know, you've mentioned some guys that work with these guys. It still is a fairly new field.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And it's just so important for these athletes. And I think to get past a thing like performance anxiety, being able to, and the idea is you want them to perform to the highest of their capabilities. As a coach, that's what as what you do. Like there'll be no greater moment for you than when one of your people achieves that thing and they're the best they could be. Kills you.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's going to be it for you. That's your Super Bowl trophy.
Yeah.
And so I agree, and it's a real struggle to try as a coach. It's a struggle to try to implement it when we only have this 90-minute time, once a week.
Yeah.
It's almost like we need a morning and an afternoon and an evening session to get all the work in that we need to get.
You could even create like custom mental imagery, or just like a mental imagery for the entire team, like 5 of them. You go make them, and here's one where you're visualizing you getting hurt, and then responding. Here's one where you just are dominant, all the way from the walkout to getting into the ring to everything. And those are little things that you can give them to take home with themselves, but they have to want it. They have to recognize
they're going to have to do the work.
Exactly.
Like you can't want it more than they do.
Yeah.
You know that. I'm sure you've worked with people that you're excited, and then you tell them you ask them to do some things, and you go, how'd it go? I didn't do it.
Yeah, you get what you put into it, 100%.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah. Did you hear Michael Phelps with the goggles? You ever hear that?
No.
How he visualized like his cap falling off, his goggles filling up with water, all these things, and then he's swimming in the Olympics and his goggles fill up with water. And it's for his last little bit, he's swimming blind, and he set a world record because he was prepared. He didn't flinch.
Yeah.
So it's a fragile mindset to think that you can't visualize those things, because it will happen.
Yeah.
And you better be prepared for when that does happen.
We've talked about one of my favorite moments in MMA is when Peter Yan fought Jose Aldo. And it was when Peter won the belt the first time. And he was orthodox fighting, and Jose Aldo's leg kicks used to be the most frightening thing in the world. Like I think it was spiders, snakes, sharks, and Jose Aldo's leg kicks in that order, something like that.
Yeah.
And unless it was Uriah Faber, then it was Jose Aldo's leg kicks, sharks, spiders, and snakes. But he hurt his leg so badly he couldn't stand orthodox. So he switched southpaw and won a world championship. How cool is that?
So cool.
Right? Just like, whatever. I'll just go in my other stance. So I talked to the guys about that. Imagine you've broken your right hand, What do we do? Do we switch now to orthodox and use our jab more? Do we wrestle more? Like, put your mind there, because it happens, Like you resist the knee bar, but you felt it. It popped. It's not going to be the same. So what's our game plan? Exactly. So we do implement some of that, that darkness. When we do the group ones, we win all the time. We have very little negative moments.
Which is cool. Yeah.
In those visualizations.
Yeah. But there's opportunities there. And I like how you're saying that. Like, how do you respond to the knee bar and all these things? It is a effective tool though. And it's something, I think when you talk about controlling the controllables, that is a controllable, what you visualize and what you prepare for. And you ought to be putting yourself through every single scenario, so that come the night of the fight, you're just able to open your hands and just go do it because you visualized and you know everything that could happen and you're just ready for it. And now you get to let self 2 do its thing.
Yeah.
Because you've given it clear images. Self 2 works in images. And now you just have to let the natural process occur. Go out there and let self 2 take over. It's the creative artist version of yourself. It doesn't need direction. It doesn't need cues. It just needs you to be and go and let it happen, you know?
I need to do that. I need to get them doing the highlight reel.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great thing. I had heard that, and we're doing it today.
Yeah, to their walkout song. Have the walkout song be the background and have them associate their great performance with this walkout song. And it's not some crazy thing, but it's just a little reminder of who you are.
No, it's another positive feeling.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, if you go in there feeling positive and good.
Yep.
Look good, feel good, do good.
You sent me a video or a picture of Leslie getting her hair done in her childlike hoodie, watching her Mind movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't know what she was watching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just like the hoodie.
Mm-hmm. I do too. Yeah.
So to wrap that up, kind of tell me about anxiety, the word, because I'm hung up on this. After I read that and just dealing with people's feelings, is it anxiety? What does it mean? Is it always negative to have those things? Is it different? Is it anxiety still if it's just heightening you?
I haven't really thought about that. Like,
that's
how to
just
define
a definition.
It. Yeah.
I know Socrates is spending some time in my heart this week.
I love it.
On this, but I don't even want to call it performance anxiety.
I don't really. Like, I just say it's extra energy. I think the words that you use matter.
They do.
And like, there's a rice experiment. I don't know if I've ever told you this. The rice, 3 bowls of rice. And there's one that they say, I love you, I love you, I love you. There's one where they say nothing. And then there's one where they say, I hate you, over and over again. And at the end of the 30 days, the rice with I love you has almost no mold. The neutral one has a little one. You got to look it up. And then the I hate you is full of mold.
No.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, I'm serious. So the language, and also Michael Jackson versus Playboi Carti. This is a TikTok I saw, so who knows if it's real. But Michael Jackson, no mold after 30 days, like almost none. Playboi Carti is like infested.
Really?
Yeah. Trevor Moawad, it takes what it takes. Russell Wilson's coach, he talks about a negativity diet because you got to be careful. Really, like what you consume and what you let in plays a role. Are you reading about the other fighter? Are you reading about what people are saying about you? It's such a distraction. Stay on task. Be careful about what you consume. But more importantly, as Trevor Moawad says, can we just not say stupid shit out loud?
Yeah.
And sometimes,
that's one of my favorite things in that book.
Yeah. You don't have to call it anxiety. You get to call it whatever you want. It's extra energy. It's this butterflies in formation. And that's an empowering state. That's an empowering perspective. So I don't get hung up on what we're calling it, but I call it anxiety less than I call it extra energy.
Yeah. Well, I like that. And again, it's just a word, right? Mm-hmm. Like if we can agree on what it means, then it is what it is. If I'm calling a football play and I call black X 90 razor X go, you know what that means. Mm-hmm. Nobody else knows what it means, but as long as we can communicate, it's good. Yeah. But in reading that and then thinking about it a lot and dealing with it a lot, everybody carries that extra energy into the thing. Yeah. I like that a lot better. I'm going to use extra energy from now on. I'm stealing it from SIP.
Yeah, come on. And the next time you're mad at your wife, are you pissed off at her or are you just a little bit peeved with her? Yeah. Next time you get mad at her, I dare you to say, I'm so peeved with you right now. And you see how you laugh, right? That's a state change, And so it turns out the words you use actually influences how you feel.
Yeah.
Michaela will say that to me. She's like, oh, I'm so peeved at you right now. And we both start laughing. So it's a real thing. How you speak about it. You make a good point.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
So last thing, you brought up social media a little bit. That is a real, I think not just in sports, but in life, that is anxiety inducing.
Oh my God.
Because you put so much weight on what all these, maybe not all these, but some people, like whatever it is, whether you have 3 followers or 1 million of these supposed friends, which are not real. And then our athletes today, man, it's their whole thing.
Sad.
And it is for the UFC. It's super important for them that you be engaged on social media. Yep. Like Sean's popularity is largely based on social media. Mm-hmm. He's a great guy. I love him. But like he's got a bunch of idiots that follow him and think he's the greatest thing on earth on social media. What are your thoughts on that and how do we fight against that?
Well, I think you have to know who is in your circle and you have to identify it and you have to know the topics that are in the circle. I literally have athletes draw a circle and say, who is in it? What topics are in there? What topics do you protect? And just be very clear. If you're going to do that, they're going to do it. Let's just know who we gain our validation from. That's probably not the right way to say it. Who we are willing to seek out as wise counsel.
Yeah.
You know, what opinions actually matter. But I am in the same boat as you. I have a full brand on social media. Everything I have is because I've grown on social and it's connected me with so many great people. And then the first thing I do when they come on is I send them a brick and I have them to turn the social media off because one, it's frying your dopamine. Two, it's frying your attention. It's never been easier to win. You have to understand that this is an assault on your attention. They are doing everything they can to steal your attention. Take the comparison piece out of it. Take the noise out of it. Just the attention piece alone.
Yeah.
They are stealing your attention. And in a world where everybody is having their attention stolen from them, it really does pay to be the one that protects your attention, to have a good relationship with something like that. And so, I mean, you look at Cal Newport, deep work, digital minimalism. An athlete's relationship, hear this loud and clear, with their smartphone. An athlete's relationship with their smartphone is every bit as important as what they're doing in the gym and what they're eating. What?
Yeah.
How? You know, that's crazy that that's where we're at, but it's true. And so, you know, I just would be very careful about where you get your validation from. And I would tell you that we need to have clear boundaries with things like that. Clear times when it shuts off, clear times when you maybe turn it back on. My phone auto bricks every night at 8 p.m. Like I can't be on it after. And if I am, and if I'm on it first thing in the morning, I am more anxious. I feel worse. I sleep worse. I stay up later. You can't overlook the value of making slightly better decisions. And that's one of them. You know, like to just have a good relationship with that and to be, I mean, if you're doing that, you're not present. You know, I'm not with Michaelin, you know, I'm not here from scrolling. And so if you want to be present in the ring, if you want to be present when you're competing, you got to be present in your life.
Yeah.
You know, what's your take on it?
I hate it. I just hate that people think the attention comes before the deed. Do the thing, get the love.
Yeah.
Don't get the love and then do the thing. You know what I mean? And the youngsters and like the way they feel, like somehow it's important about how these people feel, and they don't care. As soon as something goes wrong, it's so much negativity. You've seen it. Like there's people online. Like imagine what Ilya is going through right now.
I know.
If he looks at all at his social media, I don't know that he does. If I ever get rich enough, I am not going to have it.
Same.
Everybody else is going to run it for me. 100%, because I fucking hate it.
Yeah.
But I hate it because it's so back and forth. And it's all fake. Like they love you, I love you, I love you. Have you ever seen the Nate Diaz did it? This is the one I'm thinking of. But somebody will write something crappy about them. Well, they find the person. And they're like, hey, and they're interviewing the guy, Nate Diaz, and Nate Diaz walks out.
Yeah, I see.
And all of a sudden they're like, oh, hey, I love you, man. It's like, well, that's not what you were saying. You know that my favorite is Jay and Silent Bob. Have you ever seen that movie?
No.
Oh my gosh. So they're these two idiots, and there's a whole series of movies that they do. Clerks, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, which is one of the funniest things ever. Anyway, but they're so mad at all their haters online, and at the end of the movie, they get enough money that they find everybody, and they go to their houses and beat them up. Like this little teenage boy opens the door. Are you Edward6HJ9@gmail.com? Yeah, that's me. Oh, you son of a bitch. And they go get him. I love that because you're just anonymous, and it's so dehumanizing.
It's distracting.
But people think it's connection, but it's actually exactly the opposite of connection.
Agreed.
And I think it really hurts the athletes. I think some of the kids see that it gives them value, right? Oh, but the UFC, and you need to have this and this audience to get these spots. Well, they forget that Sugar Sean did 10 years, 15 years of work with nobody paying attention. Nobody knew who he was. Right. And then the persona came and the stuff came, and he's doing a great job, and God bless him. But it didn't come without work. That's my take on it.
It's a great take.
You know what I mean?
And I'm not here to tell anybody how to live their life, but I just would say from what we're speaking about, it's never been easier to win because these people are fragile and they get their validation from flesh and from these followers. And the one thing you have to remember is if you let these people build you up, you will let them tear you down.
100%.
Yeah. And even that's social media. That's the people on the press conference after you win who's talking about how great you were, unaffected by the circumstance. You compete to your standard. You got your team who that's the opinions that matter. You appreciate it, but you don't need it. You know, that's a powerful place, non-needing, non-striving, you know.
Well, I mean, it's you. It's funny you mention a circle because I've talked to a couple guys about this. It's circles, right? Like your tightest circle is probably Michaelin, right?
Exactly.
And maybe there's somebody else, your mom, your
my
dad,
dog,
or whoever
my little
is
dog.
in that smallest circle.
Yeah.
Those are the diehards. They're it. They matter. If Michaelin says something, it's real. And you will take it in and you will adjust whatever. You guys will do whatever with it. Your next circle is your inner. They're important, but they're not this circle. And
That's good.
For the athlete, it's them and their family and whoever they feel, right? But the very people, that's it. Like the earth's going to end and you can save 3 people. They're in that circle. Now you have this next circle, and there's the coaches and your teammates and the people you trust, their opinions. And you can take those opinions. And it means something. Doesn't mean everything, like the depth of in your core. It's not your inner circle, what's the next one out?
That's so good.
And they're very important, and they matter, and you will take them. You trust them. And then 1,000,000 miles away from that is the last circle. Yeah. And it's all the other motherfuckers that just don't matter. They're all the people on TikTok and Twitter and Instagram, whatever. They don't matter. And you can't let their opinion infiltrate anywhere near your 2 important circles.
Yeah, I'm going to take that. I love the different circles. That's really helpful because you have your main circle that is like your actual
it's
group.
your life.
Yeah.
It's your actual being.
That's so good.
Like your life's blood is that. And then the next one is kind of what you do, right? Like what defines you. I'm a fighter. So these are my teammates and my coaches and, you know, whoever else is in that circle that helped me be who I'm trying to be. But then everybody else is not important.
And they never were. And
No.
I think that's what's cool about the Gaethje piece is how unemotional he is with all of that. And
I love it.
But it is what, like, you have to assess the facts. Like I hope people take that away from this podcast is what are the facts? And the facts are you have a job to do. You have a game plan and you're going to go execute your game plan. And at the end of the day, this is a distraction, and focus is the art of knowing what to ignore. I don't care what other people are doing. Keep your eyes on your own paper and stay on task. Stay committed to the process of what you're doing. Those things are distractions, and you have to know they're distractions and have a boundary with yourself. Because black and white, I see people that have every single athlete I come to and talk to them about the issues that they have and the habits that are causing 80% of their problems. Everyone talks about social media.
Yeah.
So
it's so important.
Success,
especially with young athletes now. Like most kids now spent their whole lives on smartphones, right? Or it's close anyway.
Oh, it's a problem.
I'm old enough. There was no internet.
Yeah.
Like that's just started in my life. You know, that's how old I am. But it is important, like for your job and my job, to get people. If you're going to be as great as you can be, that can't be your driving motivation or what moves you to do things.
Right.
It's got to be internal, right? And something that it means so much to you. You don't care what that last circle says. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
completely
good.
agree. Yeah.
That's a good way to wrap this one up.
I love it. I'm so grateful for you.
You're so smart, man.
You are.
It really helps me to talk to you and you know, just bounce ideas back, and hopefully. I think it's gonna make me a better coach for sure. This time that we've spent together, and I mean that like 100%. So I just appreciate your time so much.
Yeah, I appreciate you. I always say it to you, but you have made me a better coach as well. I think I always say you remind me of Ted Lasso, and
I wish.
No, you are so similar.
I look like Ned Flanders playing cosplay of Ned Flanders. Favorite line.
Yeah, he's great, but it's the care factor, and you've taught me a lot. Indirectly, which is the coolest thing about what it means to be a good leader and to be consistent and to be steady. So thank you for this. I learned a lot here as well.
You're the man.
Yeah, love
We're
you.
going to do this again.
Yeah.
Because I got more to learn.
Come on. I'm
not done yet.
We'll keep stacking.
I'm trying to be the greatest coach of all time.
Yeah, me too.
Not just this year.
Yeah.
All right, my brother.
Appreciate you. I love you too.